I don't like it here. Can I say that at the beginning? It's too middle class for me, this place. Like, this bit of the canal, not for me. Like, I feel like maybe in between, like, the next lock along and this one, it's not filled with normal water. It's filled with sparkling water. It's the kind of place I feel like this is. Do you know what I mean?
There we go, Joey is with us now. Lovely to see you. Thanks for coming in.
I made the effort and wore the same suit I was wearing in the clip.
I appreciate it. There is continuity there. I all know, places like that where you kind of, you walk through what is sugar, and then all of a sudden you're in this nasty part, and then all again you're in this place where you think, how could this be where I'm nearby? That's London for you.
And it's not like where I grew up, but it's where I live now. So that's only up the road from where I live. So I'm a massive hypocrite, basically.
Tell us a little bit about Afterlife. Where did the idea for this come about?
Well, last year I did a show where I tried to explain the universe in under an hour, and I quite like working in these areas where people don't really know what's true and what's false, so I get to make up a load of stuff, basically. So I thought, where else could I go? And it's like the afterlife, and I'm sort of in my mid-30s now, so I'm starting to feel like, I can see for the first time ever, you think about, oh, life's not actually that long and stuff like that, and so I thought, how can I make that fun and weird and interesting? So that's what I've tried to write a show about.
It's terrifying as somebody who is in his mid-30s as well, that you do start to think about mortality, don't you, a little bit for the first time, and go, I could die. And
it's the first time as well, and because before that you're too busy being young to care about it, and it's like, no one tells you when you're young that that's not what you're going to look like forever. What you're actually going to look like is a horrible mess as you get older and older. So it's a bit about that, basically.
It becomes rapid, unfortunately, doesn't it, as well? Is there something about the fact that you can touch on subjects that there is no scientific proof for that allows you to say, well, no one's going to call me out on this?
Exactly.
It gives you the freedom to take it anywhere.
Yes, exactly. And I really like operating in sort of like flights of fancy and things like that, and making up loads of stuff. So it's good that people can't go, oh, that wouldn't happen, because they don't know either. So they just have to accept that I might know what I'm talking about because I've written a show, which is more than what they've done, and they have to go with me on it. So
exactly, you are therefore the leading expert in that room on what you are talking about. How do you weave in then the mundane, everyday life stuff into what is a fantastical world?
Well, I think when you're doing anything that's sort of like a bit different or a bit sort of otherworldly, you have to start on the ground. Like, you can't start on the moon, or you can't start in, the afterlife or whatever. You've got to start in John Lewis. Like, and where the show came from was basically I got a John Lewis voucher as I say it's for Christmas, but as a wedding gift, and I was like, oh, I'm a proper grown up now, and I didn't like it. And that's the grounding part that it sort of jumps off from. But mundane life is easy to find stuff because quite a lot of life is like that. Do you know what I mean? It's quite boring.
95% of it is, isn't it, really? In terms of kind of testing, new material as well, this is brand new. Do you put it out to audiences in something like this and then think, actually, I'm going to change it slightly, or this is where I'm going to now take it to the next level? Yeah,
so basically, like, I've been doing bits of the show in clubs and stuff around the country. So, like, I would say a good 50% of it I've been testing since the Edinburgh Festival last summer. And then some of the ideas on the night will be brand new, and they'll change every night as I try and work out what goes into that section of the show. And then I've got sort of like an ending that I've written that I haven't tried out. So
will be brand new. So for those going to 2 North Down, then essentially, are they getting a chance to see perhaps what might be at the Fringe this year? For the very first time?
Hopefully.
So this is the first chance?
Yeah, all of the stuff that works will be going to the Fringe, and they might also see some stuff that isn't going to the Fringe because it didn't work. Yeah.
How late will you leave it to get that ending?
Well, it's pretty early. I mean, not for this show, because this show's next week, but it's pretty early for Edinburgh. So, like, I'm doing this for 6 nights so that I can work out what I want and what will work in the Edinburgh Festival. And then I've still got 3 or 4 months to work on it, but by the end of this 6 nights, I reckon I'll have 70% of my Edinburgh show. So
you'll have nailed it down. Yeah. Aside from the stand-up stuff, you also do quite a bit of radio presenting as well.
Yeah,
people will
right.
recognise you from that. Which of those 2 things do you enjoy the most, or do you actually just weave them all in together? Yeah,
they're both completely different. Like, I would never not want to do stand-up or the radio presenting. Like, the radio presenting's good because I interview loads of like up-and-coming bands and like bands that I actually really like. So it feels a bit like a busman's holiday for me because I'm getting paid to interview bands that I would never normally get that close to. That I would go and see anyway. And in the stand-up, there's nothing like performing in front of a room of people and them getting on board with what you're doing. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah. When it doesn't go quite to plan, though, which everybody has that experience. How do you get out of those moments? When you find that one person at the front who you just can't convince.
Well, as I've got older, you learn to. I think, and this is the good thing, like to tie it in with the show. As you get older, you care a lot less. So it's like I've been doing this a long, long time, so I know that it works almost all the time, and maybe for some reason sometimes it doesn't go to plan, but you just have to sort of shake it off. And if there's one person, you just sort of look over their head, and the rest of the people are going with it. But yeah, I think consistency is like the key of becoming a really good stand-up, and I think that's something I'm slowly starting to get a grasp on.
Of putting this show together, then, has it made you think about the afterlife, whether or not there'll be a pearly gates moment?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more just. I guess the point of the show is I hope there is something, because then I don't have to worry about how much I haven't fulfilled my promise in this life.
Yeah, I think
I'm more hoping for a second go. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, we haven't wasted our one opportunity. When we get beyond this to something better.
Yeah.
Joey, lovely to talk to you. Where can we see you?
So I'm at 2 North Down, which is in King's Cross, from the 30th of March until the 5th of April, and they largely start at 7 o'clock. It's about £7 to get in.
Perfect stuff. Lovely stuff. Thank you so much.
Nice one. Thanks. Cheers.